Welcome back. This is part 2 of chapter 9. I didn't realize my video was getting too long. Then I won't be able to post it on the Blackboard. So what I did is that I stopped the video, and then we came back with the same questions that we were working on. So what we were working on question number 7. Under this question number 7, they're asking us to work it out, rework out question number 6, but putting in your calculator in a begin mode. So again, it's on my Blackboard, on my board, how to convert your calculator in a begin mode, how to put it in a begin mode. Second, payment. Second, enter. When you turn on and off button, make sure you have a BGN at top of your zeros. So what you're going to do is you're going to rework out what we did using begin mode. So now you have it in a begin mode. So I'm just going to erase this, and I'm going to do the same questions that we did here. We did A, we did B, and we did C. And then if you wanted to know how we got those answers, go back to our first part of the recording, and then I already showed you how to do it. Now I'm doing question number 7, and I'm doing the A part again. Again, on your calculator, you should have a BGN at the top. In this case, you're going to have a payment. Your payment stays the 8,000. Your N will be 10. Your IY is equal to 5. Your present value is equal to 0. You're going to compute your future value, and that future value should be 105,654. So that was your first one. So now if you put it in the end mode, your answer was different. If you put it in a begin mode, your answer is different. So do not make that mistake, because you wanted to get right at the test. So payment is going to be 8,000, and then your N is going to be 20. Your IY is 9, and your present value is equal to 0. And you're going to compute your future value. And then in that case, your future value, when you put it into your begin mode, your answer comes out to be 446,116. And then we're going to do the same thing for the part C. Your payment is equal to your 8,000. Your N is equal to 20. Your IY is equal to 9. Your present value is equal to 0. You compute your future value. Your future value, when you put it into a begin mode, will be 3,33,315. So these are the answers. So if you compare it, if you have an end mode and a begin mode, your answers will be different. So do not make that mistake for the test, please. So that was our question number 7. Now we're going to go to question number 8. When we go to question number 8, let's see what we could do with the question number 8. So let's do what we are going to do with question number 8. So question number 8, there's what the question is asking us to do. You invest a single amount 20,000 for 6 a single amount 20,000 for 6 year at 7%. At the end of 6 years, you will take that proceed and invest them for 8 years at 10%. How much will be in 14 years? So what the question is asking you to do is, what you are doing is you're investing it, and then you're taking that amount and you're taking it for further. So what you're going to do is you needed to know how to do a timeline. So let's do the timeline for your 8, and then see what's happening with your question. So I like to do a timeline because I like to visually see it. So what we are doing is, your N is, so they're saying 6 years. So in this case, the 20,000, and then what is your IY? In this case, the IY is 6%. Whatever money we have, what we're going to do is we're going to take it for another 8 years. So in this case, we are going to take it for another years. That will be year 4. So from here to this year, to year 6, and then that, from whatever money we have there, we're going to invest that money, and then we're going to grow it for another 8 years, and then but the interest rate here is going to be, so you have a different interest rate. So in this case we have an interest rate of 7%, and when you take it here, your interest rate is at 10%. Good morning, Gurdeep. I'm okay. How are things with you? Oh, okay. It's good. Kids are doing okay? Oh, what happened? Oh, okay. Yeah. Is he getting it from school or because of school or? The other thing is, I don't know if you do it or not. I give my son vitamin C pills every day. He takes vitamin C, or you can give him an orange every day, 2 oranges at least. If he doesn't like oranges, then you can get the yeah. So it's chewable one. I give it. Yeah, I give it to him every single day. So that's the only way I could kind of stop him from not getting sick. Does he wear a hat in the morning? Does he wear a hat in the morning? Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Tell him that's why I tell them in the morning they need a hat, and just put them in the layers too. Sometimes when they go outside, they don't wear jackets either. That's the other problem. So when this question is what in other words, you are here, where are you going? You're going this way. So when you're going this way, what we're looking for is we're looking for a future value. So that's what we're looking for, is a future value. So if I were to put it into the calculator, what they're saying is you invest a single amount. So this is not a lump sum payment. What you're doing is you're doing a single amount. So when you're going to invest a single amount, what you're going to do it in for 6 years. So single amount of 20,000 for 6 years at 7%. At the end of 6 years, you would take that proceed and invest them into for 8 more years. So what you did is you have something that you invested a single payment, and what you're going to do, that single payment you invested it, and then what you invested it 20,000, and what you did it for 6 years. So in this case you have your present value, which is 20,000. You invested 20,000. N is for 6 years. Your IY is for 7%, and you're going to compute your future value. When you compute your future value, you're going to get a number of 30,015. So what you did is zero is now, which is your PV. What you did is you invested 20,000. How many years you invested that 20,000? For 6 years. And what you want to do is you're going to, whatever the money we have, that's your future value. What the money you have on the 6 year, you're going to invest it for another 8 years, but the interest rate on those 8 years will be different. So how you're going to do that? What you're going to do is this becomes your future value, and that's the money I'm going to put it in here. So what you had is, I'm going to change the ink. So when you calculate the future value, the money you had at that point, it was 30,015, and that becomes your present value at that point. So then becomes your present value 30,015. Your N is going to be 8 years. What you're going to do is you're going to invest it for 8 years. You want to know how much that investment is worth after 14 years. The reason here, what we're trying to do is you have an interest rate. That interest rate is different for 6 years, and the interest rate gone up for the next 8 years. So N is going to be 8, your IY is going to be 10, your payment is going to be 0. You're going to compute your future value, and that future value will be $64,339. So as what happens is, if you got a different answer here, you take that answer and then put it in for another 8 years for 10%. So when you're doing this type of questions, what you're going to do, whatever the answer you got, you're going to take it, and then you're going to take it for another 8 years. So let's do our number 9. And what is number 9 is asking us to do is we're going to read the question and see what the question is asking us to do, so that we are able to see what kind of calculator, what we are putting on our calculator. Delia has a choice between 30,000 in 50 years or 650 today. If long-term rate is 8%, what should the choice will be? In this case, what are we looking for? We're looking for a present value. So what we have a choice is that you wanted to receive 30,000 in 50 years from now, and what we're looking here, what is the present value of that 30,000 is going to be. So what we need here is, you have a future value. Your future value is 30,000. Your N is 50. Your IY is going to be 8. And then we have a payment. That payment is 0. You're going to compute your present value. When you come up with the present value, make sure your calculator is in an end mode. I'm keep saying that because I want to remind you that if your calculator isn't put it in the right mode, you're going to have a different answer. So when you compute your present value, you will come up with a close to $640. So should you receive they're saying Delia has a choice between 30,000 and 50 years. Do you want to receive 30,000 in 50 years from now, or do you want to receive $650 today? So if you receive it today, you're going to receive you're going to get $650. So if you have a choice today to get $650 today or 30,000 50 years from now, which choice you will take? I will take this choice because like we said that money received today is considered more valuable. So if you receive $650, you can invest that. You're going to get more money 50 years from now, because depending on the interest. But if you even have the same interest, you will have more money 50 years from now. So what we wanted to time value is that what money received today is considered more valuable than the money you're going to receive at some point in the future. So that's what we are. This is what we learned from problem 9. We're going to go forward. We're going to go forward to number 10. What is our number 10 is asking us to do? In this case, it's saying red herring will receive $11,000 a year for the next 10 years as a result of his patent. So what he has is he has a patent and he has a right to that patent. At a present, 9% is an appropriate discount. So now what happens is we want to know, is this a good decision to make or not a good decision to make? So now what we are doing here is, in this case, should he be willing to sell out his future rights for 10,000. So what we needed to know is, we needed to know what we are doing with it in order for us to before we're comparing it to 100,000 in this case. Now what are we comparing it? We are comparing it to whatever answer we receive. So it's saying what are we going to receive? We're going to receive 11,000 a year for 18 years. In this case, it is in an end mode because the question didn't state if the payments were made at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year. In A, we make our calculator to be in an end mode. So let's put our calculator in an AND mode. And AND mode is that when you have nothing you don't have anything at top of 0, that means you have an AND mode. What we are going to do is we are going to calculate the present value. When we're calculating the present value, what is my payment? In this case, my payment is going to be 11,000 and your N is going to be 18. Your IY is going to be 9%. Your future value is equal to 0. You're going to compute your present value. That present value should come out to be 96,000 and 312. So they're saying the present value of that annuity is now worth 100,000. So should he be willing to sell out his future rights now for 100,000? In this case, if you receive the 11,000 payments for 18 years, your pattern will be worth 96,000 and $3.12. So then should you do it? Should you take this option? Yes. Should you take this option? Yes. Should he be willing to sell out his future rights now for 100,000? Of course, 100,000 is more than getting the $96,312. So the answer is yes. So the answer here will be yes. Now, what do we do? Would he willing to sell his future rights now for 100,000 if the payments were made at the beginning of each year? So what we needed to know is when we make the payments at the beginning of the we needed to be what we needed to. I'm going to change my ink so we know what we are doing. So B, we needed to change our calculator in a begin mode. Now you know how to convert your calculator in a begin mode. Once you calculate your begin mode, we have to recalculate our present value. We wanted to know if it's worth more or is it worth less than 100,000. So what we wanted to do is we wanted it to be more than the 100, more than the 100. Like if somebody's giving you 100,000, should you take that option or no? So in this case, if somebody's willing, your payment is worth 11,000, your N is going to be 18, your IY is going to be 9, your payment is equal to 0. You're going to compute your present value. In this case, your present value will be worth 104 and 980. So of course, if the payments are due at the begin mode, there's more money coming in, and then so should you, in this case, should you sell it? No, I will not sell it for 100,000 because the reason for now is that I will receive more money if I make the payments if I do an agreement, the payments are made at the beginning of the year. So in other case, you're going to get one more pay. It's normally when it's in begin mode, you're going to get an extra payment and that's worth more money. In this case, your answer will be no here. Let's go to question number 11 and see what we are doing with 11. So in this case, so what the question is asking us, saying Phil will receive 170,000 in 50 years from now. So what you're going to receive is you're going to receive. How much are you going to receive? 175,000. When are you going to receive it? In 50 years. Sounds great. Of course it sounds great. Who doesn't want money? So in this sound, however, if the current rate suggested for discounting are 14%. So in this case, your IY is 14%. What is the present worth of his future pot of gold? So what we're going to do is, in other words, this is called a pot of gold. So in this case, we want to know how much is it worth today. So let's look at the calculator. Do it. We have a future value which is 175,000. Your N is 50, your IY is 14, and your payment in this case is 0. We're going to compute your present value, and that present value, if you're using a calculator, it will be worth $250. So the pot of gold that you're going to receive is going to be worth $250 today. So it sounds like a little money, but if you want something you're going to receive 50 years from now, that if you think about it, put it in 250 today, and then it should come up with that you're going to get close to 175,000 in 50 years. 50 years a lot of year. So let's do number 12. Carrie Toon will receive 18,000 a year. So in this case, it's 18,000 a year. So then the next question that we had to do is question number 12. What is the question number 12 asking us to do is that Carrie Toon will receive 18,000 a year for the next 20 years as a payment. So you're going to be receiving as a payment for 18,000 a year for how many years? 20 years. If a present 10% discount rate is applied. So what they're saying is, and now the interest rate is 10%. Should they accept this offer or not, or should they accept or not? So the first question is telling should she be willing to sell out her future rights now for 160? So somebody's paying them 160,000 now, or what they want you to, that's the first option, or they wanted to, instead of giving you money now, what they wanted to do is they wanted to give you 18,000 every year for the 20 years. So that becomes, your payment becomes 18,000, and then your N is for 20 years. Your IY is going to be 10%. What you're looking for, you're looking for a present value. Your future value is equal to 0. Compute your present value. And if you're using a calculator, you should come up with a number of 153,252. Or actually not, I just did it again, 153,244. So it should be, that's the number you will get if you're using a calculator. Now, the other thing you needed to look at, now what you're doing is you're comparing. If you receive 160,000 today, but if you receive it in equal payments, you're only going to receive 153,244. So I rather take just the 160,000 because I'm getting more money. So first one is, should she willing to sell out her future rights for 160,000? Yes, she should. So the answer to that will be yes, she should, because she should take 160,000 instead of taking into equal payments. Now the B part is change. What the B part is telling you. Now, what if the payments were made at the beginning of the year? Again, you need to put your calculator in a begin mode. So when you put your calculator in begin mode, you do second function, second payment, second enter, press on and off button, and when your calculator turns on, what you need to do is you need to once it turns on, you needed to you needed to put the 000. You should have a BGN mode. So when you're doing it, you're going to do the same calculation that we did before, and all we're going to do is in a begin mode. So payment will be 18,000. Your N will be still 20. Your IY is still going to be 10. Your future value is equal to 0. You're going to compute your present value. In this case, your present value will come to 168,569. So now if somebody offered you 160,000 now, or we receive that much money within equal payments for 20 years, we'll get more money. So then your answer will be, should you accept the 160,000? No, you should not accept the 160,000. I rather take the 168,569. So there's more money to be received from this rights, from this deal. So let's do the next question. Let's see what the next question is asking us to do. So I'm just going to erase it, so because there's a lot on this page. So see what's happening with this. So now the next page is, oh, we have a lot of questions. I don't know how many questions we have. So the next, they both questions are 13. Maybe this is 13. So we're going to, this one is 13 and this will might be number 14. So let's do number 13 and see what the question is asking. George Penny will receive 32,250 for the next 10 years as a payment for a slogan he coined, currently at 6% discount rate. So when they say discount rate, that also means that interest rate. So that also means interest rate. George, so what they're going to do is in saying that receive 32,250 for the next 10. So this is the for the next 10 years. So you're going to receive equal payments. So what you wanted to know, is it worth it for you to sell your future rights for 240,000? This question is similar to the one we did for 12, but one is you have to put it in a begin mode, then one you have to put it in the end mode. Now in the first one you will have to convert, because we did the last question was a begin mode. Now when we're going in this question, our A part is in an end mode, so make sure your calculator is in an end mode. So in this case, our payment, what is my payment? My payment is 32,250. Your N is going to be how many years? Your N is equal to 10. Your IY is going to be equal to 6. Your future value at this point is 0. And what you're going to do is you're going to compute your present value, because you wanted to compare it. Somebody's giving you 240,000. Should you take that, or should we take it in a series of payments? So in this case, when you calculate the present value, you will get 237,363, and that's the present value of those payments. If somebody's offering you 240,000, what you're going to do, you're going to take the 240,000, because that's more money then you'll receive and later on. Now let's do the B, see what the B is asking us to do. So let's do B. Should he be willing to sell the furniture right now for 240,000 if the payments were made beginning of the year? Now you needed to convert the calculator in a begin mode. So of course you're going to have to in a begin mode. So make sure you on the top of your zeros on your calculator you have BGN on it. So what we're going to do is we rework it out, the numbers. So 32,250 is my payment. My N is 10. Your IY is going to be your 6. Your future value is equal to 0. And what you're going to do is you're going to compute your present value. When you compute your present value, you will get a number. What that number is going to be 251,605. So this is what you will receive if you put it in the agreement you want the payments at the beginning of the year. If that's the case, what you're going to do is that'll be 251,605. So and then what they're paying you now, they're paying you 240,000. So it is worth it for us to ask them to give us the payment. So in this case, the present value of the payment, it is worth it for us. Should we sell it for 240 or receive the payments for 251? So that's what it means. We are comparing it. So we should not sell it. We should take the payments. So that's what it is. Now let's go to our 14. Our next one is to 14. So let's do that. So now in this case, the next part of the question, this is another 14. So what the question is asking us, the Epic contest awarded 10 million. It will be paid over the next 50 years at the rate of 250 per year. With the first payment is due today with a discount rate of 9%. What is the present value of your price? So what we did is we won some money. So what they did is they are going to give us they're going to give us the money. So they're going to give us an equal payment, and the equal payment is going to be is saying is that they're saying we want $10 million, but we're not gonna get all the money in one go. So what we are doing is it will be paid over the next 50 years. So now what is the present value? We're looking for the present value. So what the question is saying, we're gonna get 250,000 for how many years? We're gonna get it for 50 years. And what is the rate? Our rate is 9%. So we want to know what is the present value. In other words, we're computing the present value. So it's saying per year with the first payment due today. So if it's due today, means due now, we need to put our calculator in a begin mode. That's what it means. We needed to put our calculator in a begin mode. So because you start receiving the money today. So in this case, so what we are going to do is the epic contest. So now there's two way of calculating it. So in this thing, per year with the first payment due today with a discount of 9%. If you could do it in two ways. To me, I would do it with putting our calculator in a begin mode because the payment is due now, which is now. If it's a now, it's now. So you're gonna do your payment is going to be 250,000, and that's my payment. Your N is going to be your 50. Your IY should be equal to 9. Your future value is equal to 0. And what we need to do is we need to compute a present value. In this case, when you compute the present value, what you're going to do is you're going to get 2987059. So in this case, they didn't say the payments are due at the begin or end. In this case, if the payment is due now, I put it as a begin mode. Or there's another way of calculating it. So what you have to do is you want to know what is the present value of it, 0. So if you're going to do it 1, so what you're going to do is there's two way of calculating this question too. If you wanted to put it in with an AND mode, and you should get a sort of a similar answer when you're working at it. To me, you would get a similar answer. So in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to get everything is in AND mode. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a payment that you're bringing it to this point, and then you're bringing it to year 0. Your payment is equal to 250,000. Your N will be 50. Your IY is going to be 9. And your future value is equal to 0. You're going to compute your present value. So if you're doing it, if you're in the AND mode, when you compute your N value, you're at that point, that will be it will be 2740500, and that present value, what you have to do it for, bring it for one more year. So that becomes your future value, 2740500. Your N will be 1. Your IY is going to be 9, and your payment at this point is going to be 0. You're going to compute your present value, and that should give you 298707145. Depending on if you're using a calculator. To me, you should get a similar answer what you got before. So this was 298. Sorry, that's 298,059. Sorry, that's the answer that we got. I thought that's the answer. No, we should get a similar answer what we get. So there's two ways of answering this question. Whatever you find it easy, that's the route you will take at that point. So let's go to our next one, which is going to be your 15. Let's do number 15 and see what the 15 is telling us to do. And then we're going to go from that point. I don't know, my pen is getting really thick, so see if I could a little bit. So now this question is we didn't do that. So in this case, this is question number 15. So what is the question number 15 telling us? Joan Lucky, I wish I was lucky. Joan Lucky won 80 million lottery. So what they did is they won an 80 million lottery. She will receive 1 million. She will receive 1 million for the next 50 years plus an additional lump sum payment of 30 million after the 50 years. So the discount rate is 12%. What is their current winning? So in this case, there is quite a few things you could do. This you wanted to know how much is going to be all together. So this is another way of saying is when they're giving you a lump sum. So you want to know what is the current value of her winning. What was the total value Joan Lucky won. So in this case, when you're doing it, she received 1 million a year. So in this case, is it okay to say that that's an annuity that, so in this case my payments are going to be $1 million. So that's what we are going to receive. And then how many payments are we going to receive? You're going to receive 50 years, 50 payments. Your IY is equal to your 12%, and your future value is equal to 0. You're going to compute your present value. So that's what you're going to do is you're going to compute your present value. So in this case, when you do that, your present value will be worth 8,304,498. But that's not what. Now if you were to do a timeline, what you're going to do is you're receiving 1 million. I'm just going to put a short 1 million here, 1 million here, 1 million here. What you're going to do is you're going to receive 50 years this payment. So what you're going to do is you're going to bringing that into now. So this is what you're doing is you're going to, because it's an equal payment, everything we're bringing it to now. So that's what the value of your payment is. Also what they said is they are going to give you a lump sum payments. When they're going to give you a lump sum payment after they made the 50 payments, what they're going to do is they are going to give you after the 50 years, I think additional lump sum payment of 50,000 after the 50 year. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you 30 million at that point. So what you wanted to do is you have to bring that up to now. How you going to bring it up to now? So that becomes your future value. Future value is your 30 million. When you're going to receive it in the 50th year. What is my rate? My rate is 12%. Are we receiving any payment? No, we're not going to receive any payment. And what you're going to do is you're going to compute your present value. Once you compute your present value, you're going to see what that 30 million will be worth. In that case, what you're going to do is by what you're going to do is I don't have the number, so let's work it out, the number. So in this case is 30 million. I didn't I have it in a begin mode. I have to convert it into the end mode before I go further. So 30 million, I am going to receive it. Future value, 50 is your end, 12 is your IY, 0 payment, compute your present value, and it is going to be worth 103,805. So how much did you get all together? Your winning will be 8,304,498, and you're going to add 103,805. If I put it all together, it's 8,408,303. So what is the present value of your winning? So that's what the question was saying. What is the current value of her winning? The current value of her winning is 408,303. So let's see if we could go to our next question and see what the next question is asking us to do. So now what we are doing, our next one, I'm just going to erase it, and then what we'll do is we will do the question. Larry Doobie invests 50,000 in a mint condition 1950 rocket. Richard Toops hockey cards. He expects the card will increase in value by 8% per year for the next 5 years. So that's what the question is saying, that the value is going to increase. How much is the value is increase? It's going to increase by 8%. for the next 5 years, how much his cars are worth after 5 years. Now, sometimes what the question is saying, if you're saying he expect the increase the value by 8%, when they're telling you the value will increase by 8%, that's your interest. So that's your IY, in other words. So what you wanted to do is you want to know how much will be the card worth 5 years from now. So they're worth 50. You were to invest in the mint condition at 50,000. What we're looking for we're looking for something that is going to happen in the future. In other words, we're looking for what's going to happen in the 8 years from now. So N is equal to your next 5 years. Your for the next 5 years. And then your IY in this case is 8%. So now if you look at it, some of you guys say that's not the interest rate. No, the question says that he expect the card to increase in value by 8%. If it's going to increase by 8%, what does that mean? It tells us that the interest rate that we are going to generate on this is going to be 8%. So if I have a $50,000 and then I'm not going to receive any payments. I'm going to have it's going to for 5 years, and we want to know what the present value of that 50,000 that we invested into the mint condition. So if I will have a present value, my present value will be 50,000. Your N will be 5. Your IY in this case will be 8%. We're not receiving any equal payments, so that will be 0. And you're going to compute, what you're going to compute is your future value. In this case, when you compute your future value, you should get 73466. So that's what the question is asking about. So we did the first 15 questions. You could go ahead and do actually we did 16 of them. You could do as many you want. And what I wanted to do is I will be bringing in another question at the beginning of next class. And what we wanted to do is I wanted to do that together. So that if that question is sort of similar to your assignment, so that you don't have any problem when you're doing your assignment. So I always recommend you doing your present value. You're doing not present value. You're doing a timeline. When you draw a timeline, we know where we're going. Are we going to where we're going? Are we coming here, or are we coming here, or are we going there? So if you're looking for a future value, or you're looking for a present value, or you're looking for a payment, or you could be looking for IY, or you could be looking for N. So you could practice as many questions you want, but if you do the questions that we assigned, so I assigned for 16 of them. If you're able to do them, you should be okay. The only thing is you have to the reading of the question might be challenging when you do the questions, because when you are doing a test, sometimes it makes it difficult. But other than that, I don't see you have any problem. Thank you for listening to me, and I will see you in the class. Thank you. Bye for now.